Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Brad Fab Garage. Man, we have a lot going on today. Everything from pie cuts to turbo downpipes, exhaust pipes, wastegate valves, screwing up a bunch of TIG welding, you name it, we're doing it on this one because we have a lot to show you today. This did cover several weeks of us playing and doing our thing, but with me being off work, had a little extra time on my hands to try and get some things done. So we got a lot going on, and still one arm in it, one hand in it, whatever you want to call it. I just started experimenting and playing, and I went ahead and built a hot side. I had to do it with a MIG welder. Was trying to work on getting a TIG, and but out of boredom, I just started building stuff. So can't do much else, so I'm just tinkering. Took me probably 5 times longer than it should have, just because I'm still the one-arm bandit. But I threw some stuff together. I got the turbo mounted and started building the hot side. And yes, my welds aren't perfect because once again, I'm welding with one hand and the pipe clamped to the table. So that was a pain in the butt. But it can be done with just the basic junk. I'm just using a regular old Harbor Freight chop saw, nothing fancy. Just set it at 10 degrees and went through and cut out probably about 15 or 20 pie cuts. And then I just took the 6 best ones that I had and cleaned them up, and that's what I used. So you can do this at home. You don't have to order these off Amazon. I'm using a straight piece of pipe and just cut it at 10 degrees. You just cut it, rotate it over, cut it again, and as long as you're close, it works. You don't have to be precise. So, but I did. You can't ever get them consistent. I don't have any kind of a jig set up to hold the pipes exactly for one for cuts. But anyway, yeah, it was a job trying to weld this stuff up. And I ain't afraid to show you, but yeah, I practiced because trying to roll this thing over and weld at the same time with one hand. Basically, I had to clamp this to the table and just move around with it, and it sucks being one-handed. So I mean, really, I can use my thumb and these 2 fingers and that's it, and I can't hold nothing with it, and you know how that goes. So but anyway, I monkeyed with that for a full day, and I ain't gonna complain about it. I may just run it. So but what I am going to do today, we have to work on the wastegate valve. So I took a 45 and cut that. So what I'm going to try and do is run my wastegate out here underneath the turbo. So I'm going to come in right here, notch this tube out, and go right there. I can shorten this down and mount my wastegate up in here out of the way. So I don't have to take a whole lot out of that to make it work. Now on my notcher, I have a JD squared beast notcher. This thing, man, it's the only way to go. I've had this thing for probably 12, 13 years, something like that, and this thing is a beast. With this thing, I can clamp straight pipes. I can come through, clamp this thing on the jig like that. I mean, it is the way to go, and it is adjustable everywhere. So you can see you can move these pegs all over this deck and clamp a piece of tubing in there everywhere. Adjustable head up and down. I mean, this thing has got everything you need. This is 2.5. That is a 3-inch on the hot side. I have a 2, and I think this is a 2 7/8, so it's close enough. I'll go through. I'm going to notch this so that we can weld that to the pipe and go from there. I've got my exhaust tube mounted up in the notcher, and the cool thing, like I said about this, I can notch this up anyway. I get my angles left to right and up and down, and let's go ahead and make a cut on this thing. All right, and just like that, we are notched. Now we will have to grind on the edges a little bit, because like I said, that's a little bit smaller diameter than what the tube that we're using on the pipe. So other than that, I mean, now we just got to make it fit. Okay, now my goal is to get this in here and weld either right up to here, which that actually looks like it's going to fit pretty good right there, and then put my wastegate back behind the turbo. So I'm actually liking what I see right there. Just have a little bit of cleaning to make a really nice clean fit on it. And that's first option. Second option is to probably come back here, which probably makes a little more sense, because I mean, we get our flows coming around through here. It's going to run right up this tube and right up the wastegate valve. That's option number 2. So we'll see what we're going to do. The only fun part is going to be cutting this out of here, because I made this thing pretty much permanent. So I'm probably going to try and come back here first. So let's try that. Okay, we basically just cleaned it up a little bit, took a little bit off the sides, just to get a nice snug fit. So let's see how that looks. I went ahead and marked my pipe, pulled the turbo out, and got it marked where I want to cut. This is going to set beautifully right there. That'll put my wastegate valve out here underneath the fender. And I think that's going to work great. So I'm going to take the plasma cutter and I'm going to zip that out and clean it up with a die grinder. And we'll weld it right there. Alright, so we got everything fitted for the wastegate tube. And our next step is I need to go weld some V-bands to it before I weld it onto the mount. The V-bands that I have are stainless. So we have to use, I think it's a 309 wire is what I ordered, a 309 rod is what I ordered, so that we can TIG weld the stainless to the mild steel. Now, I've not done this before. My buddy Randy, that we're going to go visit him, he has done stainless, but he's not done stainless to mild. So, and he's done a little bit of TIG welding on his 68 that he's building, a 68 short bed. And so he's kind of got it figured out, but neither one of us really know what we're doing yet. So we're going to go over there and play with that and try and get these stuck to it. Then I can come home, weld the pipe back to the turbo mount, and start mounting some wastegates. Yeah.
Not that coordinated.
Yeah.
That's kind of a big piece of.
Yeah, that's a big rod.
It's a big rod.
That looks good. Hey, we're gonna figure it out one way or another. I got a lot of extra tubing we mess up.
It's really difficult to get that puddle to start into that mild steel. I think it's getting too hot. I mean, trying to get it to like stick to that.
And move, mold in together.
Mold in together. Once you get it, it'll
There's
go.
a trick to it. I think that's good. I think it's just a little black spot. I mean, this is a straight up science experiment for us, so yeah, it's just all going to be learning about being smooth.
Well, with the other deal,
this is probably the worst thing to learn on, welding two different kinds of metals together.
No, and the machine I got.
Yeah,
it's working.
All right, guys. Well, some first-time TIG welders, we kind of figured something out. Yes, I said first-timers, but I don't know. I got some boogers and some stuff like that. But for the first time from welding stainless to mild steel, I'm not disappointed. I mean, it ain't no show car or nothing like that, but you know, we didn't do too bad. We're not professionals by any means, but as long as it don't leak, I don't care. So we started out on a heavier material, almost an 1/8 inch on the actual coming off the manifolds, and I mean, we got some good color and stuff like that, but I mean, we're learning, and that right there is probably our best one yet. The big welds on this, of course, are MIG welded. The one-arm bandit MIG welding guy. So, but anyway, this is going to get most all of my hot side done, so I can start welding everything up on the car tomorrow. And big thanks to my buddy Randy. We're starting to figure it out. He's done a little bit of stainless on his exhaust. He is building his own truck right now. He's been working on this one for ever since I've known you. What, 18 years?
I bought it when I was 14 years old. So this truck, full rotisserie, 67, right? 70.
70. Let's see what's under the mat here. Because here, let me grab that stainless, because this is. This is his pride and joy. Pretty much, you drove this in high school, right?
Yep.
So we're doing, or he is doing, a full. This is the whole Ride Tech suspension, right?
Yep.
Ride Tech suspension with coilovers all the way around. Got a 9-inch build. This is a Curry 9-inch, right?
Yep. With the true track.
Yeah, Curry 9-inch with a true track, and the full Ride Tech coilover suspension, disc brakes. And they're what wheels, Randy? 20s?
20s.
20s.
Detroit steel.
Detroit steel 20s. The original style look. So he spent the money. Got the big fancy tank with a fuel system and all in it. But this is his long-time project, and it is going to be nice. Because I believe he's got all the vintage air. He's got everything. About the only thing you don't have is seats, right? You haven't made your mind up there?
Yeah, I don't think I have interior yet.
Yeah. Well, the bed and all is behind our table over there. It's been pretty much most all the outside body work's done. And he finally bought him a new rotisserie and repairing everything from rockers, door jambs, everything is going to be new on this thing. So you did the wing window vent deletes, right?
Yeah, so it's a one-piece window.
So one-piece windows, power locks, power doors, power everything. I mean, he's doing it right, that's for sure. So, but anyway, it's about time to head to the house. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We will finish up the majority of the hot side, and the only thing that I have left, I've got to get some 4-inch to do the downpipe and everything out to the back. So we're getting close. I'm gonna get this done, and then basically I have the fuel tank to get wrapped up and get the cold side done. So getting closer, man. Just keep checking in boxes. All right, guys, got home late last night. We're back in the shop this morning, and we got some parts built last night, and we're gonna try and get everything assembled on it today. As far as the turbo mount, turbo's gonna sit, of course, right here on the flange. Now this right here is where I'm gonna go with my wastegate valve. It's gonna come off this way, back here, and the wastegate's actually gonna be tucked up inside the fender. And then, like I said, you just have our elbow that we built. I think it's going from the hooker manifold to there. So today's deal is just to get this thing nipped up today. I need to build some braces that go out and support that wastegate because it's a little long, and man, it sure fits nice. So it's all tucked away and everything. The wastegate is going to fit basically like that right there. So it's going to be tucked underneath the fender well. I can rotate that wastegate and then come back up into the exhaust, but it's going to sit kind of like that, and we'll have to build a support on the outside of this because that's a lot of weight hanging out that far away from the other exhaust manifold, or the other pipe that's bound into the frame. So we will do some support for that because you don't want that thing bouncing going down the road, because it'll just tear that pipe up before too long. So, but other than that, it's time to start welding here again. Okay, I got the wastegate valve tacked in place. This is what we're looking at. It'll come right off of our manifold right there, right up into the fender, and we'll hide it back over here in the fender well. Now the good thing about this is I can rotate this around and bring this pipe right up into the exhaust. So that'll clean this up nice. Tire clears easy, no problems there. So we'll get the turbo off and make that thing one piece. Okay, so I've got the wastegate leg welded on. I've got a couple brackets to put underneath this thing just to keep it from working its way loose and cracking pipes whenever it's bouncing down the road. So we're going to weld those brackets on real quick. Let's get the car back up in the air and we'll get that welded on. I've got the small piece welded onto here, and what I'm going to do is just that simple. That's going to keep the weight of this wastegate valve from bouncing around back out here and tearing that pipe up. So I'm probably going to do a support over here also, just to keep that turbo. The more I can keep things from moving, the longer this is going to last. Alright, I think we'll call that good. It doesn't need to be welded solid all the way through, but just a few spots on the end, and that's not going to move now. Alright, that is a nice tight fit. That gives our wastegate right down there. It's got plenty of clearance on everything. And might be a little tight getting a bolt in there, but I bet we can manage. If I have to, I can dent that out just a little bit more. But other than that, this will work out great. I can clock this thing around pointing this way, and then we can just arch it right up here into the pipe. It literally will have to go basically from here just into here. So that'll work out good. I'm happy with that. All right, once again, checking off boxes. This is one of the big ones for me right there. The next thing is going to be getting the radiator in it, taking it to town and getting hoses made for it, and then getting on the gas tank. So, but other than that, I'm happy with it. Nice, tight, doesn't take up a lot of space. Wastegate's hidden off in the back, and that'll work like a champ. We are getting a few things more done on the car. The hand is getting a little bit better, so things are starting to look uphill a little bit. Have to go back in and start some therapy as of this coming Wednesday. But we're getting a little stuff done on the car. I've had to ask for some help with some friends just to get a few things done. But last week we got a lot of the hot side stuff welded up. I'll show you some of that, should be on this video. But I've got radiator hoses on the car. We got the radiator mounted that can help me TIG weld everything on the shroud. So we got the shroud all hooked up, radiator hoses hooked up. We have the wastegate valve kind of mocked up in there. We won't weld any of that until we get everything situated like we want. Got the gas pedal mounted. Working on the cable. Everybody knows on a V8 Camaro, your foot pedal goes through the firewall to a lever and just to a solid rod. Well, I've got the 6-cylinder pedal in that actually goes off of a cable like a Nova would be. So I did get the square hole cut right here to take the cable itself. So, and the pedal came ready for that. So that's the easy part. But I am getting a few more things to help make life a little bit easier. Working at Randy's on the TIG welder, trying to figure things out. We got that fixed. I actually have my own TIG welder coming now, so I can mess up some stuff around the house. But I also went and picked up a little bandsaw today. So I can start working on my cold side stuff. So we'll get some wedges cut out of this and cleaned up. And whenever I get the AC/DC TIG here, I can start playing with this stuff. So I'm going to head and mock some stuff up and get it all ready. And if I don't feel comfortable about the weld and the cold side and I want it to look pretty, I'll probably have Kent help me out and get that welded up. So, but we're getting close, real close. There's a few things I know I have to get. I do have to get a longer oil feed line for the turbo. This one will reach up here, but I don't like how it dresses through. I need to get one. That one's a 60-inch line. I need about a 65-inch line to dress it in real clean the way I want to. So, but other than that, we're rocking. I'm gonna cut a few more of these wedges out real quick, and kind of start mocking some stuff up. All right, so I have my bottom piece, which is this one for the straight, and stack them all up right there, right there. You know, all those little jewels up, and the last one right there. Right there to get my 90. So we just got to clean them all up and do a little welding. All right, boys and girls, just like always, I'm all over the place, trying to get done what I can with what I got coming in. I did go to town this morning and I bought a 10-foot stick of 4-inch exhaust pipe from one of the diesel truck shops to start working on the exhaust. I'm waiting on the TIG welder to show up so that I can start working on the aluminum, or messing it up and having somebody else come help me fix it. But what I started on last night, I've been working with the bandsaw, getting to know that thing, and starting to make some stuff. So I did throw together a 90 that I've got taped up here, and then I started coming from the throttle body, working my way to join these two together. So we're really close there, but I don't want to go any farther until I can start tack welding this stuff up permanently. Well, tack weld permanent sometimes it's not. So while I'm waiting on that, I do have the MIG, so I can work on the mild steel side of things. So I'm also playing with this 4-inch. And working on the exhaust pipe. So I'm going to come through, as you can see, and drop right straight down where the manifolds and all would be, right in there. So I do have the tranny lines that I have to bend out of the way because we are going to put new tranny lines on it. But my goal is to get this thing and drop right down through that hole and take it straight to the rear end, and just dump it at the rear end like I've always had it before. So I'm not going to put a muffler in it yet. Everybody knows the turbos kind of knock a lot of that down, but I'm going to see what it sounds like first before I do that. So, but yeah, man, the little bandsaw is working great.
The only problem is this thing has been shipped and rolled around, and it's not perfectly round all the way down. So it's got some bumps and bruises, but I'm working my way through it. I cut a piece out here that had two pretty big dings right there and right there that you know, just wouldn't make a good size wedge. So I'll save that piece for something else. Other than that, it's kind of where we're at right now. It's kind of a tedious process lining all this stuff up, but it's pretty cut and dry when you go through and see what you're doing on your wedges and stuff like that. Everything here, I'm doing at 10 degrees. I might have to get a little thinner on that just to get it exactly where I want to, but so far 10 degrees has been working on everything pretty well. And I mean, it's making some pretty tight radiuses, so it's working out really well. I'm trying to leave about 1/4 of an inch on the skinny side, and it keeps a nice tight roll. So, man, I'm just gonna keep chugging on. I'll just show you little updates as I go. A lot of this stuff is kind of hard to film because I'm so back and forth between the bandsaw to the car to the belt sander to the bandsaw to the car to I'm just hopping all over the place. So it's busy. All right, guys, we're back in the shop again, and got a few new things that showed up. The TIG welder did show up, so we did buy one of the little inexpensive, but seems to be a really nice TIG welder. The little Yes Welder 250 off of Amazon. So I know it's a cheap welder, but you know what? I'm not doing it for a living, so it works great for what I do. And man, you can't beat the price. These things are like 800 bucks off of Amazon, and I had a 50% coupon. So if you buy a complete TIG welding machine that does really well for 400 bucks, you can't complain about that. Also picked up a cart, got a new bottle, and started practicing. And the only thing I figured out so far is aluminum welding sucks. I have a lot to learn when it comes to aluminum. There's a lot more to it than meets the eye. So, but once I get a baseline figured out, I'll definitely be able to work it from there. And it's just going to be practice. It's like anything else. You know, if you want to do it right, you got to practice. I spent 2 days on that machine. As soon as I got it in and got everything ready for it, just playing. The steel is not so bad. I've done some steel a long time ago, but it's been a long time. So what I did is I went ahead and started TIGging all the exhaust side, my 4-inch. So we got the wastegate snaked up through there, and yeah, that's kind of iffy, but it doesn't leak. I guarantee you that. And it tied in directly to the exhaust like I wanted. I did TIG weld everything on this except for the V-band. I went ahead and MIG'd that just because I wanted to control my heat a little bit better. So not the prettiest, but it's all there. So we got through here. We had to add about 15 degrees here, and then kicked it straight through the back. I've got about anywhere, I think the closest I am to the firewall or floor anywhere is about 3/4 of an inch. So I actually had a lot of room. I'm happy with that. I think I put 15 degrees here. I put 12 degrees there, and then that got us down to the V-band. So I'll raise the car up and show you what I did. A 4-inch pipe underneath the Camaro is a big piece of exhaust. So let me get this thing up here and show you what's going on. Okay, let me show you what I've got under here now. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, I've got some work to do, like I said, with the welds, but man, for that thing coming down and fitting that snug, and you can see, you know, not shabby, but I've got a few places I hit it with a grinder just to make sure that it wasn't any pitting or anything underneath that. But yeah, 4-inch V-band down here, so I can separate the turbo tube downpipe to the exhaust itself. So, and then went through here, contoured everything to kind of fit around the floor. I can fit my hand between all of it, so I got a good gap there. And then just threw a little dump together. So when I set it on the ground, I've got about 3.5, maybe 4 inches of clearance. I think it'll be all right. I mean, if it doesn't work, I'll come through and probably do some of the oval pipe and try that out and see how that works. It's supposed to give you an extra inch or something like that, but I'm pretty happy with it. That's a lot of pipe to put underneath the car. Did get the O2 sensor welded in. I've got everything ran from here to the motor on the fuel side. This is my return line. And I'm just waiting on a sump. I was gonna try and do an internal sump on this thing, but I put the tank back up in it, and I think I'm just gonna do a weld-in sump right here. I wanted to not have to look at that, but it's just going to be the easiest way to do it for right now, without cutting the top of the tank and trying to do internal baffles and all that kind of stuff. So that's probably what I'm going to go. So I've got that ordered, waiting on that to get in. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with the exhaust. I'll give you a quick look at the wastegates now that everything's hooked up. And you can see what's going on here. From the little bracket we built that supports that, we're wired in, CO2 lines are ran, and you can kind of see how it tucks up and dives over. That way our tire doesn't get in there and hit that. So that actually turned out looking pretty good. Pretty happy with that. And it fits good. Should be easy to work with if I have to take it all out. All right, guys, well, hopefully the next video we got coming up, we're gonna have this thing running. I've got to take my computer over to Chris Bales. He's going to drop a file in it to get me going. That's going to be really close to the setup that we have. But other than that, like I said, hopefully we'll be making motor noises on the next video. Just do remember to go in and like and subscribe. And if you want a t-shirt, go ahead. I'll throw a link down here. Go on and order you a t-shirt, and we'll ship that out to you right away. I got boxes full of them, so pick you one out. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.